Happy early New Year's, or just regular Happy New Year's if you're watching this in a couple of days. Our next holiday banner is the Renewed Spirit banner, and it's going to be our first banner of 2020. The new year is starting off with a bang. We have celebratory outfits for Lethe, Selkie, Commander Anna, and our newest duo hero is Alphonse and Sharena. Really happy to see the Asker trio pop up together, and Anna finally gets her day. We'll take a look at these stats, skills, and weapons for new units, and talk about their general playstyles with some build ideas. Let's get celebrating. First up, let's talk about New Year's Lethe. We finally get our first seasonal beast units, and Lethe is definitely no slouch. Instead of a red unit, this time she is a green beast cavalier. We will go over the beast transformation bonuses in this video as a refresher. Lethe has some amazing stats with 41 HP, 35 attack, 41 speed, 27 defense, and 18 resistance. She is going to be our new fastest cavalry unit by a hot mile, and her 35 attack is really solid, especially for a cav. New Year's Lethe easily has the best offensive spread if you want an offensive cavalier, and things only get crazier. Lethe has a couple of old skills, but my goodness are they good. Her special is Glimmer, which is okay and will activate pretty often. Her A skill is Attack and Speed Solo 3, which grants plus 6 attack and speed when alone. She also has low speed and defense 3, which lowers the foe's speed and defense by -3 and neutralizes her speed and defense field buffs. Suffice to say, but Lethe is going to be a monster. I believe this is the third time we are seeing the solo A skill combined with a low B skill. I think Intelligent Systems is trying to make a point here. Lethe's unique weapon is the Guardian Fang. It grants a flat +3 speed, and she's gonna sit at 44 speed just at neutral nature. Oh boy, if Lethe's speed is greater than the foe's speed, she deals damage equal to 70% of that speed difference with a maximum of +7 true damage. Also, if Lethe's speed is greater than the enemy's, she reduces damage from attacks and AoE specials by a percentage equal to the speed difference times 4. This has a maximum of 40% damage reduction. For both of these effects, you need to have 10 or more speed to get their full benefits. Lastly, as a refresher, when transformed Beast Cavaliers get a bonus when initiating. They inflict -4 attack and defense on the enemy, and the enemy cannot make a follow-up attack. Alright, so New Year's Lethe is a straight up beast. She combines two of the best speed based effects, one that grants on-hit true damage and the other is Close Call 3, newly introduced. With a starting 44 speed, Lethe is easily set up to get the benefits of both skills very often, and slow units are at a huge disadvantage here. When transformed, Lethe becomes even stronger when initiating, and with 3 movement, that's exactly what she's going to want to do. She will stop any quick riposte type effects in their tracks, and since those are typically on slower units, Guardian Fang gets its full benefits. Lethe, being a cavalry unit, cannot use Flashing Blade, which would have been hilarious, but still, her attack is good enough for Heavy Blade, so definitely watch out. Overall, New Year's Lethe is an extremely good offensive cav. She has amazing stats and her base kit works perfectly together. With just Guardian Fang and Attack and Speed solo active, she hits 50 speed, and anyone with less than 40 speed is going to take the full brunt of Guardian Fang. With low speed and defense, this number increases and the enemy gets no speed buffs to help out, so yeah, good luck stopping her. When transformed, she gets more damage since the -4 defense debuff is going to stack with low speed and defense for a total of -7 defense on the enemy they cannot avoid. The -4 attack debuff also works with the close call effect to produce even more damage. So while Lethe's defense and res isn't outstanding, she is going to be hard to take down. Adding something like Attack Smoke can keep her alive on the enemy phase, and it's important to note that her weapon and kit are still in effect, so Lethe's not just a pure player phase unit. Giving her some defensive skills like Sturdy Blow or Guard just make her more annoying, and a Brazen Seal will also work nicely. Unsurprisingly, her original form could also run Gale Force, and New Year's Lethe can make it work even better. Her attack is higher, and she gets on-hit true damage, so something like Desperation can make her a fun unit, but low speed and defense works fine. If you are going to run Gale Force, Defense Smoke may be a better option, especially for a defense team. Since you cannot bait her with your usual quick riposte tanks, if she gets Gale Force active, it probably means someone is dying. Very nice unit, actually stands out quite a bit for all Cavaliers, and having Close Call is awesome. I'm definitely saying that these seasonal units aren't just here for some fun. So I wanted to go over Lethe first because she has some familiar skill effects. New Year's Selkie is going to be similar to Lethe, but she puts a twist on those old skills. Selkie is also a colorless beast cavalier, first of her kind, and you can now run an all colorless beast team, plus they cover all 4 movement types as well. For stats, New Year's Selkie has 35 HP, 31 attack, 39 speed, 16 defense, and 40 resistance. Wow. So the only thing Selkie and Lethe have in common are that they are both pretty fast. Her HP and attack are a bit lower and her defense is way low, so definitely keep her away from any physical damage. That said, 40 resistance is just bonkers on any unit really. That easily gives her the highest res for any cavalry unit, and she wins by a mile with 5 more res than second place. Stat wise, Selkie is definitely an oddball. Ideally, such low physical bulk on a melee unit is not ideal, as any sword, axe, or lance unit is going to pose an issue. She's also colorless, so no weapon triangle to help out. Definitely not going to be a unit for everyone, but her magical tanking capabilities are incredible, so keep that in mind. For old skills, Selkie copies her original form a bit. She has Iceberg, and with 40 base res, that's an easy 20 plus damage. Her B skill is Sabotage Speed, which can debuff foes with less res than Selkie with -7 speed. She also has Odd Res Wave for +6 res buffs every other turn. New Fox Kit Fang is New Year Selkie's unique weapon, and before you freak out, it is similar to Lethe's Guardian Fang. The first difference is that instead of extra speed, Selkie gets accelerated special trigger. She keeps the same on-hit true damage and close call effects, like Lethe, but Selkie uses res instead of speed for stat comparisons. As far as I know, this is a new effect. These high speed based perks are being translated for a high res stat instead, and Selkie has a very high 40 base res to abuse this. The damage reduction will help Selkie out tremendously, especially if she fights a lot of physical damage foes. Her attack also isn't as high as Lethe's, so the true damage will be nice for her. That said, with accelerated icebergs and still pretty good base speed, Selkie can dish out good damage herself. Selkie also introduces a brand new skill called Distant Ward. If magic, staff, or dragonstone foe initiates combat, grants attack and res +5 and unit can counter regardless of range. This skill is only inheritable by melee units. So is this our new distant counter skill? Well, sort of. It's more like a distant counter specialized for magic damage. It only works when fighting mages, healers, or dragons, and the distant counterpart only works on the mages and healers. The extra bonus stats will help with dragons though. So Distant Ward is not going to be the new distant counter. If you want to counter all ranged threats, you need to include bows and daggers too. Distant Ward will only be for units like Selkie who really only want to fight magic damage foes. The +5 attack and res are rather nice, and the resistance goes toward activating New Fox Kit Fang for Selkie. If anything, Distant Ward certainly is an interesting A skill, but I wouldn't expect to see it that much. For playstyles, it's pretty obvious. New Year's Selkie is your magic damage counter, and honestly she is pretty good for that job. Distant Ward may not work with the offensive nature of Beast Cavaliers, but for Selkie, she will eat mages alive since she is getting extra res and damage reduction too. Like Lethe, Selkie is going to get extra true damage, and she is somewhat fast, so don't disregard her damage output either. Her main threat is going to be those 2 cooldown icebergs. If you want to go full res tank, then adding warding stance helps Selkie with another +6 res in the enemy phase, and with Distant Ward that's going to go over 50 resistance. She should be able to tank AoE specials from mages like Ophelia, but something like Fortress Defense and res can increase those chances even more. You can even go for other support skills like speed and res ruse if sabotage speed isn't necessary. Since she has accelerated specials, Selkie could run Gale Force sets as well. Remember, the Beast Cavs can inflict -4 attack on the foe when transformed, so activating Heavy Blade may not be as bad, even better if you add low attack. With 4-turn Gale Force, Selkie can 2-hit ranged units and still proc Gale Force in 1 round of combat, which is valuable, so it may not be a terrible option, especially since she should be able to tank most mages that comes her way. Her colorless nature is interesting since it means Selkie can tank any color of mage or dragon, but it also means any physical damage unit is gonna pose a threat to her. If you're looking for a colorless beast unit who can counter at a distance, then maybe Kanagas might be something you want instead. He isn't mobile like Selkie, but he also has ton more defense, and he can fight off bows and daggers too. New Year's Selkie is definitely a bit of a strange one, but she's not going to be your typical melee cavalier. If you want a colorless magic damage counter, well, she certainly has potential. Our third unit is New Year's Anna. It only took almost 3 years for Anna to get an ult, and to be honest, I don't really understand why they didn't give her one earlier. She is literally the perfect character for a gacha game. Maybe they didn't want to be too on the nose. Well, New Year's Anna has picked back up her bow and is our second red archer infantry unit. She has 40 HP, 34 attack, 40 speed, 16 defense, and 37 resistance. Very high speed, good attack, and good resistance. Anna will be better suited to fighting mages, but if she can free fire on melee units, then she can dish out good damage. Like Selkie, probably best to keep her away from any physical damage threats, although since she is red, she can fight green units with less worry. For old skills, Anna comes with Rally Defense and Res Plus, which grants +6 defense and res to one ally. She also has Sabotage Attack 3, which inflicts -7 attack on foes with 3 less res than Anna, and if they are next to another foe. We'll get into this more a little bit. For her weapon, Anna has the Fortune Bow Plus. This inheritable 12-might bow is actually a sabotage bow. It targets both defense and resistance, but only with a -5 debuff. Still really good, and with sabotage attack, this means Anna can be a real annoying support unit. For those with Brave Micaiah, her Yune's Whispers skill is similar, but it targets attack and speed, so a team of these two can hit all 4 stats with sabotage. Anna has a nice 37 res to use it well, and since it does lower defense, technically she can benefit from the weapon herself. There's actually not a ton of really high res archers. Niles is pretty much the only other one. Near as Anna, it will be your best user of the Fortune Bow. Anna's new C skill is Attack and Speed Gap. At the start of the turn, grants attack and speed +5 to ally with the highest attack and speed total for 1 turn. This is a perfect buff for your high attack and speed offensive sweepers, for example fire sweep users or even fast blade tone mages. It's not a +6 attack and speed buff, but this skill will work from anywhere on the map, so consistency is very high. As a reminder, you can buff multiple allies if their attack and speed stats equal the same total. That includes a unit with medium attack and speed, and then a unit with high attack but low speed. You never really know what kinds of teams you might actually be able to put together with these gap skills at the ready. Anna is the only one with an inheritable weapon on this banner, but even she has a very good base kit. Fortune Bow plus Sabotage Attack gets her triple Sabotage debuffs, and you can even run a speed debuff like Speed Ploy as well. If you want to keep Anna with this supportive kit, then refine the Fortune Bow and give her Fury for an easy extra bit of res. She can also use the extra attack and speed for offensive purposes. If you want to drop Fortune Bow, Anna can be a great offensive archer. A Fire Sweep Bow would be amazing with her stat line, and you can run things like Attack and Speed Solo, a lull skill, and Legendary Selka's new Attack and Speed Ult skill. If you want to utilize Anna's good base res, then a Slaying Bow with Iceberg or Glacies is also an option. Not officially confirmed, but it was data mined that a Swift Sparrow Sacred Seal is coming, and this opens up the A slot for the powerful Flashing Blade 4. It also happens to be available on Thrasier if you want to chance at it right now. Combine this with Desperation and well, you got one nasty setup, 2 instant hits with 2 procs of true damage, and you got an Iceberg on top too. Regular Niles' Refine actually allows a similar build. Besides these bows, Anna can also use a Brave Bow if you want quad attacks. This year we also got the Bouquet Bow, which is a Swift Sparrow bow, and the Candle Wax Bow, which is a Fury 3 bow. Both are inheritable from reward units. She may be a red archer, but Near's Anna is a unique pickup since fast, high-res red units are actually not very common. She will be a pretty handy green mage killer, and she has the attack and speed to dent green melee units as well. Probably not a groundbreaking unit, but I think Anna did well for herself this time. Time to reset the clock on that Anna alt tracker. Last on the banner, we have dual New Year's Alphonse and Sharena. The Asker siblings can't let their commander have all the fun and are joining the new year as a blue mage infantry unit. They have 41 HP, 38 attack, 17 speed, 35 defense, and 30 resistance. Highest defense for a blue mage by a good margin, but also the slowest with only that 17 speed. Really high base attack and solid HP and res make dual Alphonse pretty unique, and while his stats may be unconventional, his base kit pairs with it really well. For old skills, Alphonse and Sharena have close counter, pretty neat, and with 35 defense and res, they can definitely make it work. Their B skill is Special Spiral of all things, so you know these two will be spamming specials along the way. Alphonse and Sharena have the Imbued Coma. This 14-might tome accelerates special trigger, and at the start of combat, if Alphonse has his special ready, then he also gets +5 to all stats, and the enemy cannot make a follow-up attack. Dang, that is pretty neat, and it's an amazing pairing with close counter. Even with low base speed, if Imbued Coma is active, Alphonse can stop a follow-up unless the enemy can cancel that effect out. For stats, the duo are going to end up with 40 defense and 35 res altogether, which is just fantastic. We have the makings of a pretty unique unit, and things only get better with their unique special and dual skill. For their dual skill, Alphonse and Sharena grant special cooldown -2 to themselves and all infantry allies within 3 rows and columns centered on themselves. Basically, that's the 8 squares around them. This is an incredibly good dual skill. It's like an AoE infantry pulse, and it's -2 cooldown. With specials being so potent in this game, this is incredible for utility, and pretty much any infantry unit is going to benefit from it. Because Imbued Coma accelerates specials, with this dual skill, Alphonse can charge up any 3-turn special immediately, and this will in turn prime Imbued Coma to activate. In the hands of the player phase, dual Alphonse and Sharena are going to be so good, but without this effect, they're going to be way less scary in the hands of the enemy AI. Alphonse and Sharena also have a unique special called Open the Future. This is a 3 cooldown special that boosts damage by 50% of a unit's defense and restores HP equal to 25% of the damage done. Basically, it's a healing bonfire. As a 3-turn special with the dual skill, Alphonse can immediately ready Open the Future, and this primes his entire kit. Imbued Coma grants its bonus stats, plus prevents follow-up attacks, and once Open the Future gets used, Special Spiral kicks in to recharge it right back up. This cycle is actually really good because it's immune to guard effects. Since the special is already charged, the only way you're going to stop it is with Pulse Smoke or the Witchy Wand effect. Since Alphonse is getting unique special like Winter Sothis or Marth, I think it's safe to say we'll see this special again in the future. I don't think they've ever given a unique special to a seasonal one-off unit, so expect to see Open the Future on another Alphonse. Maybe it will even come on Lethe whenever they decide to release him. Dual Alphonse and Sharena also have a new C skill called Defense and Res Oath. At the start of the turn, if unit is adjacent to an ally, grants +5 defense and res to a unit for 1 turn. This is a self-buffing C skill, and it's a good one if you have a tank that always wants more defense and res. They have to stick with the team, but it won't require allies to buff them up, so it's pretty nice if you aren't bringing buffing skills. For Alphonse and Sharena, this skill just further improves their tanking potential. Nothing much else has to be said here. Dual Alphonse and Sharena are already ready to let it rip. Their base kit is so good, and Imbued Coma plus Special Spiral are pretty much must keeps in my opinion. Combined with Open the Future and their dual skill, they can keep the special spam ready for every single fight. With Close Counter, they can fight off melee units, and remember, they have very high base attack, and combined with Open the Future being a bonfire special, that is a ton of instant counterattack damage. You can give them quick repulse if you don't think they're gonna KO an enemy in one hit, but if not, something like Steady Stance or Fierce Stance might be fun too. With everything active, Alphonse is going to have 45 defense, and something like Steady Stance will bump that up to 50 defense, which means 25 damage from Open the Future. Close defense and distant defense will also be amazing seal options. While they may seem like a more enemy phase type unit, since Open the Future is charged, the duo do have some player phase power. You can't just ignore them unless you can take a bonfire, and remember, they're going to stop a follow-up attack too. Very amazing base kit. Another interesting option is to run the AoE Special Spiral setup. They have the attack for it, and with accelerated specials, they can run Hardy Bearing like Ophelia. Blazing Wind will be on a 3 cooldown, and the dual skill drops that down to 1, so all you need is 1 cooldown from outside sources to get the AoE special spam going. This can be done with Quicken Pulse, Times Pulse, or even just Infantry Pulse from an ally. With Life and Death, they actually won't be that squishy since their base defense and res are really high, but they are still pretty vulnerable. Remember, Imbued Coma only works if the special is ready at the start of combat. AoE specials proc before combat and will go on cooldown, so it won't activate the weapon. One hit will recharge the special though, so if Alphonse has to get hit on the enemy phase, he won't actually get all those bonuses. This may make Dual Alphonse a better AoE special spammer than Ophelia. However, if you need to double something to get the kill, then Ophelia will still be the better option. This issue may come up in PvE content where their super large health pools may survive the AoE special and a single basic attack. Still, I can't imagine this combo being used in PvP modes, and if you don't have Special Spiral Ophelia, I highly recommend you give it a shot. Life and Death and Blazing Wind aren't particularly hard to acquire, and you can just use Quick Impulse for the last cooldown charge. Overall, this New Year's banner is amazing, lots of fun skills, and Dual Alphonse looks like a great unit to have. His dual skill is going to be so good for special heavy infantry teams. If you don't plan to summon, then the New Year's Tempest Trials is coming up. This time we have New Year's Air, and she looks amazing. She has some pretty enticing skills, and as we mentioned, this Tempest Trials is slated to offer a Swift Sparrow Sacred Seal. That in itself is worth the grind. Thanks for watching, let me know your thoughts on our first units of 2020, and I'll see you guys soon.